Rigsters here, back with Forza Horizon 5 A to Z Street of the Durango Sprint Manufacturer Alphabetical Order car series. So on the last one, we covered the 2004 version of the Acura Integra Type R as the first one, and the one before this one, we did the Acura NSX from 2017. And now to wrap up Acura for Forza Horizon 5, at least as of the timing of this video, the original Integra Type R for the United States. This is why people love the Integra Type R. It's a front-wheel drive, basically race-ready hot hatch, but it's kind of like a hot coupe in this case. Car. Inline 4 naturally aspirated power. So, just like before, we're going to tune it one class above, which in this case it also starts at class C, so this will be an interesting comparison, although parts wise it's going to be kind of strange because I can't always match parts for parts, but I always can make the car as capable as it can be depending on where it starts. And right now it starts at 596 class C, so it shouldn't be too hard to do some good upgrades for it. And like I said before, all cars for this A to Z street are all going to be street. It'll be pretty interesting to see what vehicles not designed for road racing, how they do as well. So first thing we do, of course, brakes. And you guessed it, it's race springs. Everything's pretty much going to be the easy part, which is the suspension, platform, and hand wings part. Weight reduction is going to be a challenge, because in some cars and builds, you can't always do race weight reduction to make it more effective. I'm trying to not meme it too much as well. I'm not doing crazy engine swapping, but I am going to try to make it more competitive within reason. So I'm actually going to do sport weight reduction and not race, because I want to invest in some other components to keep it in class B. So let's go to Dark Terrain, and let's put in the race clutch, of course. Race transmission. Actually, let's do sport transmission for this one. And let's do race driveline. And the diff doesn't add any points, but it's very important. Tires. Always important to do tires. Sport tire, semi-slick. How much G's do we get with semi-slick? So semi-slick throttle potential is up to 1.1, at low speed 1.13. You wonder where I'm seeing this. If you have an Xbox controller or keyboard equivalent, you hit the toggle. On keyboard, it's letter Y as well. That is the default. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna actually put on the sport tire compound. That way I still have some parts I can put in, like I could put maximum front tire width, for example, and upgrade the rear to from 195 to 225s. Actually, you know what? Might do 245 instead. Let's do 245 and upgrade the track width by 1 for both. Just a little bit wider. And then let's see what I can do for exhaust. Can we actually put in exhaust? Yeah. There we go. That'll make it sound better and reduce weight. And I think we're getting close to the limit of Class B. Yeah, can't do the intake and reduce weight with the flywheel. That's it. Okay. Alright, so yeah, it's not going to be very fast in a straight line. Let's just put it that way. And because I've done some of these part upgrades before, it's not a one-for-one science for credit costs, because I'm not trying to make this overly expensive in terms of in-game credits. So this setup that I've experimented with and shown you is 25,700. Unfortunately, because I've driven so many different cars in the game, I personally can't guarantee you every time I'm going to be able to show you the exact cost of each performance build. And the grand total here is a reduction of 300 pounds, 218 horsepower, so it's a little more, and much more lateral G. Alright, and then I'll see you at the track. Alright, so before I start the race, I'm going to show you what I quick did here. I tuned the gearing a little bit, didn't touch anything in alignment, nothing in roll bars, nothing in springs, dampening. I changed this to 8.1 on the bump. Brakes are not changed, and for differential, I increased the deceleration from 5 to 8% and acceleration from 10 to 15%. Now, unlike in rear-wheel drive cars, which are primarily the power goes towards the rear, but not all of it, the front-wheel drive cars you want to have lock slower, because with front-wheel drive cars, you lock up the differential too much, you cause massive understeer at various cornering situations. That's the reason why you have it so low. And I'm applied for Horizon 4, the previous version of this game, as well. And with that, let's get started. So I'm very excited to see what this Integra does. It has an inline 4 5-speed transmission, just like in real life. I'm kind of curious to see how this car does. So I'm going to try to give it my best and all, within reason. And these cars weren't cheap back then, and they certainly aren't now if you want to buy one of these, especially in good working order that's not modified heavily. And now let's hear that little inline 4 scream. I mean, it has a really good soundtrack for an inline 4. It's really nice. Yeah, and here's what the 90s interior looks like. Look at that rev gauge. I'll zoom in a little more so you can see it for YouTube because of their video compression. Now granted, we do have the tuned exhaust, but as you can see, that's redline was like around 8,400. That's insane. I mean, it's really cutting edge technology back then, and it still is pretty impressive today to get a reliable inline 4 to scream at like 8,400 revs. As for the car itself in the game, yeah, pretty solid. Understeers just like any other front-wheel drive car, nothing too crazy. Definitely terrible on the straights because of the lack of power, but it's very lightweight. Might have to tune the differential just a smidge. I might have to reduce the decel just a little bit. I'll try like 2% adjustment there in the future. The acceleration is really, it's really bad down low. But once it gets moving, it's pretty capable. Come on. Nope, not gonna finish first, but that's okay. So 222.3. So I'll put up here what the very first car this crazy idea was doing or have for the Descanar Brit Any Class series with the A to Z Street. That's not a bad time. I could probably get that down by a second or two with some tweaking. The car itself is still pretty good. The Acura Integra Type R from the 1990s. Definitely a worthy consideration, just like the 2000s. It does definitely sound more violent and exciting than the newer one. That might be partially because it could fit an exhaust upgrade, whereas the other one I couldn't because it was at a higher class rating, potentially. But this is definitely still a worthy car to have in your garage for road racing. And for the next part of the series, so be on to the next manufacturer, which will be Alpine. So if you want to support the channel, I do have a Ko-Fi page down in the description box below if you want to donate to support the channel. Still have that gold flight stick, and I hope you enjoyed this video and Forza series. So this is Rigsters Journey, signing off.